Hi guys, Joe and
Looking sharp.
Joe and Dana here with Dana, Joe and Co. We are back with another tip today, and we are going to be talking about
Dun, 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 email lists.
email
saying it.
lists.
We're gonna talk about it.
So we're talking about why you need an email list, what to do with an email list, some ways, some quick tips on how to grow it, and we will definitely get into a little bit of the nitty gritty, but not too much. It'll be high level, but if you don't have an email list yet, start one today.
Yeah, point blank.
So a lot of photographers, it actually took us quite some time before we actually started
I was hesitant.
trying to grow one, right? One of the reasons we're
was against
hesitant
it.
is because she doesn't like email. She's like,
I
I
don't
don't
like
open
email.
email. I don't like email. I don't like opening email.
How many emails are on my phone?
A lot. There's definitely a lot of emails on your phone that you don't open, but that's even on my phone too.
44,000?
I mean, I usually
Is
open.
that too many?
I usually sign up for email because I want like a discount or something, or I want a guide, but then it just packs up, right? But
Yeah.
really, an email list is important because an email list you actually own, right? So if you're building your following on Instagram or Facebook or any of those social media platforms, you do not own those followers, right?
And if your account goes away, guess what goes away?
Yep.
Your followers.
Yep. Now, I know what you might be saying might be, well, Joe, email open rate just isn't that good. Honestly, the email open rate that is industry standard is around 20%.
Yeah.
If you think about the Facebook and Instagram algorithm, though, you're looking at 2 to 3%. So if you're looking at it in those regards, email is actually better than social media. But the hard part is you got to get someone's email address. Like, they're just not going to give it to you.
Yeah, how do you even get an email?
Exactly. So there's several ways that you can get email addresses from people. You can run ads. So one of the things that we do is engagement session giveaway, and everybody who submits for that giveaway has to give us their email address. Now, if they don't win, they're all going to get it put into our email address or our email list, where we will then continue to serve them with a newsletter.
Yep.
Another thing that we do is a bridal show. So when we do bridal shows, we get people's emails, all those leads. Even if we don't end up booking them or meeting with them, they all get inputted into our email list.
Yeah, and they can always unsubscribe too. And we let them know, like, hey, we're going to send you, quick tips and different things that can help support you for your wedding day. And here's the catch. I used to be so against it because I'm like, well, once they're not a bride anymore, like, why are they going to want to hear from us? Referrals. Guys, they might not have been able to afford you, or they might have already had a photographer, or something else might have happened. You might have been booked that day. But they might have a friend getting married. They might still follow you. They might still read your stuff, and they're like, I wish I would have had these photographers. Or they just like your information.
Yep.
Or they might want to become a photographer down the road, and then you end up serving up educational information. So many different things. Don't write off the potential that is in front of you of clients, of future clients, and their emails.
Yeah, so your email list is important for a million different
different things. Like, we could literally be on here for like 30 minutes.
So, engagement session, we do bridal show, and then we do, you want something either on your social media platform or your website.
Yeah.
So either a pop-up or some kind of box that says, hey, if you give me your email address, I'm going to give you something valuable in return. So regardless of what kind of photographer you are, trust me, you have something that's valuable that you can provide to your clients, and just get creative with that. So like, I was talking to a newborn photographer the other day. I was like, why don't you do a packing list that a mom-to-be can download, because she probably has no idea what the heck to take to the hospital.
Yep.
And
what does it have to do with photography?
Right, it has nothing to do with photography, right? But it's something of value to her.
And what are those called?
That is called a lead magnet,
Which we'll have a video about.
which we will have another video about. But you want to put something of value. It's called a lead magnet, but you want to give them an opportunity to be able to give them to give you their email on their website. And then obviously anybody who inquires with you, even if they don't book, put them on your emailing list, right? Because here's the thing. Just because people may ghost you or may not book with you, right? there's a million things going on. You can't look into it. Maybe they're not ready to book you.
Life is busy.
Maybe an emergency came up and they just couldn't communicate that with you, so they just weren't ready at the time. Maybe they don't know you, or maybe the wedding got pushed
Can
back.
I share a quick story
Yeah.
about that? So when we had moved to California, this is kind of when Joe started dabbling into an email list, which it was horrid. We didn't really have a follow-through system. I don't even remember what platform we were using at the time. But we had done a bridal show and we had met a couple, and I had met with her for coffee. She wanted to book, and then they ghosted. We heard nothing else about them. Well, it ended up coming out that her fiance, what did he have, like a double kidney failure? He was on like
Yeah.
dialysis, right? Kidney dialysis.
Yeah.
It was bad. And they wanted to still book us, but she had just forgot life happened. Joe sent out a couple emails and it kept showing up in front of her. And she was like, I need to call her. And she said if it wouldn't have been for that, she probably would have forgot and found somebody else, or somebody would have found somebody else. And we went back to California and we shot their wedding. And even during the wedding, he was really sick. It was really, really, really sad. But that's a perfect scenario that probably would not have happened if it wouldn't have been for him sending out a monthly update. I think that's all we did back then.
Yeah.
Like bi-quarterly update, because we were behind.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too, right? So we talked about some ways to build your email list, and we talked about why it's important to get people's information so you can continue to communicate to them without having to worry about Facebook or social media, whatever social media platform that you're using, changing on a regular basis. Because now, even if 20 or 30% open your email, it doesn't mean that the rest of those people aren't seeing your email. Because even if they're seeing it and not opening it, you're still showing up in their inbox. You're still seeing you, right? Yep. And I'm sure you've probably heard, and if you haven't, a lot of times people say you need to get in front of a potential client 7 to 11 times before they actually do business with you. So one of the ways to do that is constantly be in their email inbox, right? So maybe they see you on social media, maybe they visit your website, maybe they interact with a few posts, and then maybe they interact with a few emails. There's your 7 to 11 touch points.
Or maybe it takes us a few emails for them to even go over to social media to find you and then fall in love with you.
Yep, exactly. So what you're trying to do with email is building a relationship. You're trying to build trust, and then you're also trying to stay top of mind, because you got to think, like, you're planning a wedding, you're stressed out, you're busy, you got all these things that you're juggling, you got all these vendors that you're in contact with, and it's like they may talk to you, but then they get distracted, then they completely forget about you because they got 30 other photographers that they're looking at, right? Yeah. But they haven't booked anyone yet. But you're in their inbox delivering over and over and over and over again.
And it's the same system when we talked about what to post on social media. It's the 3 Ps. You're not just sending salesy information.
Right.
You are sending personality. You're sending purposeful information that they can use and value for their wedding planning. Obviously, you're dropping little breadcrumbs here and there, like, hey, book us. Like, we want to work with you. We want to tell your story. But only 10% of that is going to be salesy. Yeah. That's it.
So we talked about the importance of an email list, some ways to build an email list, and then talked about why it's important again. Now let's talk about kind of a few things that you want to send in your email list. So what we typically do is we'll send blog posts, recent blog posts that are helpful. We'll send blog posts of recent weddings, recent engagement sessions. I think a recent letter that I sent, we literally put in like our favorite recipes, and told them that, hey, make a fun date night out of it, right? Like, think about the purpose of what are you trying to do? Like, so our purpose is we want them to be a better couple, right? At the end of the day. So what is one thing that we can show where it's like, hey, we're an authority, we're busy, but also love on them as a couple. So what we try to do lately in our newsletters is we've been putting in, hey, here's a date night idea, or here's something Dana and I do to strengthen our marriage, right? Oh, by the way, here's a recent blog post that we've written, and here's what we're doing in Buchanan Photography type of thing. And these are short emails. They're not long at all. And the way that we write them is as if that person is sitting in front of us, right?
And we're talking to them.
Yeah, so it's a conversation.
I'm going to put the coffee down. I keep spelling it.
So we have a conversation as if the person is sitting right here. It's a one-on-one conversation. We're friends, and we write it as if they're friends. It's informal, short, sweet, to the point. And it's just to get in their inbox so that they see that we care and that we're not trying to sell them all the time.
And we take turns writing it. So
Yeah.
sometimes they'll be from me and it's from my voice and from a bridal standpoint or a wife or mom. And then sometimes it's from Joe as the groom and like how to connect with them. So if you're a photographer that's just female oriented, obviously you can think of things that would support both sides of it. Maybe ask past grooms different things that they would have done or like a tip to give. So you don't have to just say, well, I'm not a husband and wife team. I don't know what to post because you guys are married and you can give that information. I'm not married. I'm a single photographer and I'm new. There's so many different things that you can bring to the table to offer to your couples.
Yeah.
So
So that's what's to put in there. Now,
Yeah.
the last thing is, how often should you...
With the dog.
Yeah.
Leave
How often should you send an email newsletter? So my thing is, as often as you can stay...
He wants to see you. You want to say hi?
There's
Sorry.
our puppy. As often
He's
as you
old.
can stay consistent, right?
Okay, go
So
play.
if it's 5, 6, 7 times a month, then do 5, 6, 7 times a month. But if you find you're falling behind and it's stressing you out, please don't try to do that. So we just started out simple. It was 1 time a month. And then now we've moved it down to every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would like to do it every single week.
I would like to get to daily.
Yeah, 1 newsletter a week. I know people who send one out every single day,
Yeah.
right? So it's what makes sense for you in your business, but the important thing is that you're actually doing it. So if you get started and you get overwhelmed and you just end up stop doing it, then you overestimated the amount of time and work that it would take.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you should do is just start out simple, get it going, and then basically go from there, because then, keeping it simple
Keep it sweet and simple.
it'll keep you on
Kiss.
task.
Kiss it.
And then you'll want to find yourself a good email service provider. So,
Yeah. That's a whole video in itself.
so some of the popular ones that are out there are MailChimp's free, but it's limited if you want to grow this thing into something really big. GetResponse we use. ActiveCampaign is a fantastic one that I've used. Another one is Constant Contact. And then ConvertKit is very popular amongst creative artists. So take a look at those. They're all different price ranges. They all pretty much do the same exact thing, just different layouts, different price ranges. So it's completely
And
up
we
to you.
started with MailChimp because it was free.
Yeah,
So
MailChimp's
do that
fine.
first. Now we do landing pages and
All kinds of
ads
extra
and
stuff.
for
So
I don't know.
again, simplicity,
Simplicity.
right?
And my favorite word is kiss. Keep it sweet and simple.
Yep.
Kiss. I do want to preface something though. If you are not in the journey of your business to create an email list, I'm going to highly advise you look at what you're doing within your business and find out, is that something that's going to produce longevity and getting my name out there and getting in front of other people, and kind of reevaluate. And I know we've said in the past on our videos that you do not have to do all of it. You do not have to do everything at one time. But this is one thing that we are going to tell you. If you have not thought of an email list, you might want to start here. And like Joe said, it can be 1 email a month. That is it. It can be 1 email a quarter. It can be a simple welcome email. When they ask for information on your site, you send an automatic welcome email every single time an inquiry comes in. It's that simple. We will be teaching how to set up an email list. And this is something that we're going to bring later down the road. And we're going to help you guys see the value that it can do for your business. But think of that. That's just what I want to give.
It's like the foundation of your business. So start it immediately. And if there's 5 people on your list and it's
Then
mom,
celebrate.
dad,
It's 5 people.
your brother and sister, serve them as if they're
Your
your
open rate should
clients.
be 100.
Yeah, serve them as if they're your clients, right? And just love on them, because it's good practice. And I know what the other thing is that everyone always says, I'm not a good writer, right? So that's just a limiting belief, right? All of us probably could use some kind of improvement with our writing, but at the end of the day,
Yes. Just
talk,
talk
write
to
as
them.
if you're talking to somebody, right? And honestly, somebody's going to stay subscribed to your email list because they like you and for who you are. So if you're being authentic, right, and genuine and not trying to push something that isn't you, then people are most likely going to stick around and they're going to be able to relate to you. It's much better than, trying to fake it, right? So
And if you are in our Booking Lab community group and you have an email that you just started and you want to drop it in the group, this dude right here is great at reading through things and giving feedback of like how to switch things up. I suffer from dyslexia, so I flip things around. My sentences sometimes are backwards, and he'll always go in and be like, okay, let's just change this. He never makes me feel bad for it. My blog posts sometimes are backwards too. It's just, I read opposite. I don't know why. It's just me. But if you struggle from that, it's okay. That's what this community is for. We're here to support each other. So feel free, drop it and be like, hey, is this a fun thing to like give out for the first time? And we're here to support you guys. So if you're on YouTube and you like these informational tips that we're putting out, please make sure you subscribe. We're going to be giving 90 days of tips to help you grow the business that you've always dreamed of. And if you're not in our Facebook Booking Lab group, we need to start attaching that link to these videos.
I do.
Oh, okay, hey.
They're all in there. Look in the description, and the link is in there.
The link will be in
Or
there.
if you look at the cover photo, there's a link up there as well.
Come join us. We would love to have you. We'd love to support your business. And if you know of any other photographers that are needing help, send them as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you next video.
Go build your email list.
Bye.